I get fired at 8:17 in the morning, standing between a pallet of crushed canned tomatoes and a line of people pretending not to listen. Darren Cho does it in his office first, then follows me out onto the warehouse floor because he wants an audience. That is the part I cannot stop looking at. Not the paper in his hand, not the little cardboard box Regina from Human Resources brings from the break room with my coffee mug and 2 chargers and the old lunch container I forgot in the fridge last week. It is Darren stepping past the yellow safety rail with his chin up, making sure everyone in dry goods, freezer pull, and receiving can see me walking out. He says, "Badge and vest." I already gave him the badge. I throw the orange vest onto the pallet jack handle, and it slides down one side and lands in a smear of tomato juice from a busted case. Nobody laughs at first. Then Nick Peeler does. One little laugh from aisle 9, where he is supposed to be checking pick sheets. A few others join him because nobody wants Darren looking at them next. I stand there in my black t-shirt, jeans, and steel-toe boots, with my hands open because I do not know what to do with them. I want to say something sharp, something that makes Darren look small, something that makes Nick shut up. Nothing good comes out. I pick up the box Regina packed for me and look at the floor. Darren says, "You were warned 3 times, Evan." I turn back, and that is the mistake. I know it before I finish turning. I was warned for reporting things you did not want reported. That gets the warehouse quiet. Forklifts keep beeping in the freezer zone. The overhead fans keep dragging warm air through the high rafters. Someone closes a rolling freezer door too hard, and the metal bang runs through the building. Darren's face changes, but only for half a second. He has the kind of face that resets fast when people are watching. "You were warned for insubordination. The East Fire exit has been blocked for 2 weeks." Regina looks at the floor. She knows. Everybody knows. A stack of seasonal paper towels sits in front of that exit because corporate shipped too much product, and Darren did not want the overflow sitting in the truck lane during a regional inspection. The fire marshal was supposed to come Friday. It is Tuesday morning, and the warehouse is packed tight. Darren points toward the employee entrance. "Leave now." I should leave. I almost do. Then Nick calls out from aisle 9. "Maybe the fire exit will miss you." A couple people laugh again, but it comes out weaker this time. Teresa doesn't laugh. Omar doesn't either. Omar sits on forklift 4 with his hands on the controls, staring at me from the freezer lane. He gives me a tiny shake of his head, telling me to walk away before I ruin things worse. I do walk away, but not cleanly. I stop at the employee entrance and look back at the warehouse I have spent 4 years inside. The high racks, the yellow guardrails, the break room window with the crooked blinds, the cold fog leaking from the freezer doors, the smell of cardboard, diesel, plastic wrap, floor cleaner, old coffee, Keystone, and bruised produce from the cross-dock area. Darren says something behind me, but I am already pushing the door open. The morning outside is too normal. That makes it worse. The sun is up, the delivery trucks are lined against the bays. A driver in a red cap sits on the step of cab 12, eating from a gas station wrapper. 2 gulls pick through trash near the storm drain. The world does not care that my rent is due in 9 days, and I just lost the only job I know how to keep. I walk across the employee lot with the cardboard box against my ribs. My old Civic sits under a bare tree near the back fence. I put the box on the passenger seat, then stand beside the car because I do not want to get in yet. Inside that box is my mug, a spare phone cable, a grocery store receipt, a pair of work gloves, and a framed photo of my mother on my kitchen counter. Regina wrapped the frame in paper towels. She did not have to do that. My phone buzzes. It is a message from Teresa. Don't answer him. Just go home. I'm sorry. I stare at it for a second. Then another message comes in from Nick. Should have kept your mouth shut, bro. I delete Nick's message without answering. I put the phone in my pocket and unlock the car. The engine takes 2 turns before it catches. It has been doing that for a month. I had told myself I would fix it next paycheck. Now there is no next paycheck. I sit there with the engine running, looking through the windshield at the warehouse doors. A white van turns in from the main road and stops at the guard shack. Leon, the morning security guard, Chaoy leans out of the booth and waves it through after barely looking at the driver. That annoys me even then. I have spent months watching people ignore basic rules and then blame the guy who points at the damage. I pull out of the lot at 8:29. By 8:41, I am at the traffic light beside the pharmacy, and the day starts getting strange in small ways. A police cruiser passes through the red light without its siren on. The officer drives fast, but not emergency fast. 2 cars behind me honk. A woman in a blue minivan keeps looking down at her phone and up at the intersection. The radio in my car cuts from a morning show into a local news break about multiple health-related responses at a hospital downtown. I turn it louder. The announcer says people should avoid the emergency entrance at Street, Bartholomew Medical Center, due to an active security situation. He says police are asking the public not to spread rumors. He says the city health department will provide updates soon. Then the morning show comes back with a joke about traffic. I turn the radio off. At 8:56, I pull into the parking lot of my apartment complex. A maintenance guy named Bert is blowing leaves away from the office steps, even though the lot barely has any leaves. He sees my work boots and the box on the passenger seat. He lifts one hand. I lift mine back and keep walking. I do not want questions. My apartment smells stale when I open the door. Last night's dishes are still in the sink. My laundry basket sits in the hallway, half full. A folded stack of bills waits on the counter because I keep pretending paper can be managed by ignoring it neatly. And I set the box on the kitchen table, take my mother's photo out, and put it back where it belongs. Then I stand in the kitchen, not moving. I do not cry. I do not yell. I open the fridge, close it, open it again, then take out a bottle of water I do not drink. I check my bank app. $386. Rent due soon. Car insurance due after that. My last paycheck will be short because Darren will make sure every minute is checked. He will say he has no choice. Regina will nod. Corporate will send a form. I sit at the table and start making a list on the back of an envelope. Unemployment. Call temp agency. Sell old guitar. Call landlord before late fee. Then my phone starts buzzing again. Not once. Not twice. A string of alerts hits so fast, the phone moves across the table. Emergency notification. Avoid downtown medical district. Police activity. Shelter indoors near Warren Avenue. Unconfirmed hazardous incident. I unlock the screen and read the first alert twice. It is vague enough to be useless. I open the local news site. It barely loads. The first photo shows ambulances outside St. Bartholomew. The second shows a crowd near the emergency entrance. The caption says, "Patient surge." The comments under it are already a fight. I think about the white van at the guard shack. I do not know why. The thought just sticks there. At 9:22, Teresa calls. I almost do not answer. I let it ring long enough for guilt to start moving through the room with me. Then I pick up. She does not say hello. Are you home? Yeah. Good. Stay there. In the background, I hear warehouse noise. Forklift beeps. Someone yelling for a pallet jack. Someone else laughing too loud. Normal sounds, but rough around the edges. What happened? I ask. I don't know. Darren just had a meeting by receiving. A driver came in sick. Leon let him through. The guy collapsed in Bay 3. Paramedics are stuck somewhere. Darren says nobody leaves until corporate tells him what to do. I stand up from the table. The chair legs scrape the tile. Nobody leaves? He says it's temporary. The hell it is. Is the east exit still blocked? She does not answer fast enough. Teresa, it's blocked. I walk to the window and look out at the apartment lot. Bert has stopped blowing leaves. He stands near the office steps with his phone in one hand, watching the street. Teresa lowers her voice. Evan, people are saying the driver bit Lance. For a second, I think I misheard her. She's bit him? I did not see it. Omar did. Lance tried to help him up, and the driver just grabbed him. Security locked, receiving after that. Where's Lance now? In the office hall. Regina took him there. He keeps shouting. Darren says it's a medical emergency, not a safety issue. That is Darren. That is so completely Darren that I almost laugh. A man could be on fire, and Darren would ask who approved the extinguisher. Go to the front employee entrance, I say. Right now. Don't argue, don't ask, just go. Darren has Leon posted there. Then go to the break room window. It doesn't open. Then freezer dock. The freezer dock is full. 2 trailers are backed in. She stops speaking. In the pause, I hear something I do not like. Not a scream. Not yet. A hard bang somewhere inside the warehouse, followed by several voices talking at once. Teresa says, I have to go. Do not go near receiving. I know. The call ends. I stand there with the phone against my ear after the line goes dead. At 9:31, the first video shows up in the neighborhood group chat. Somebody posts it from outside St. Bartholomew. The clip is shaky, filmed from across the street. A man in a hospital gown walks through the ambulance bay with one arm hanging wrong. 2 hospital staff members try to stop him. He pushes into one of them and pulls him down behind a parked ambulance. The camera jerks away. People shout. The clip ends. The comments under it split into jokes, warnings, arguments, fake explanations, and one person saying the video is old. It is not old. I recognize the hospital entrance. I delivered there once during a part-time courier job. The vending machines outside the lobby are the same. I go to my bedroom and change out of the black t-shirt. I put on a thicker work shirt, grab my old canvas jacket, and lace my boots tighter. I do not know what I am doing yet. That is the honest part. I am not thinking rescue. I am thinking movement. I am thinking I need gas, cash, food, and distance from whatever is happening downtown. Then Nick calls. I stare at his name until it almost stops ringing. Then I answer because some ugly part of me wants to hear him sound scared. He does. Evan, man, you need to come back. I do not speak. Listen, I know I said stuff. I was messing around. What happened? It's locked down. Receiving is locked. Front is locked. Darren said it's for security. But Lance got worse. He was fine. Then he started slamming into the office door. He broke the little window. Regina is stuck in there with him, I think. I don't know. People are running around. Omar said the fire exit is blocked and the back gate is chained. I close my eyes for 1 second, then open them because the room feels too still. Call 911. It's busy, it just clicks. Call the fire department. Same thing. Teresa said you knew the building. You got tools, right? I look toward my kitchen table. My keys sit beside the envelope list. On that key ring is a small silver key I never returned because nobody asked for it. Forklift 4. Omar once had me keep the spare during a night shift when the supervisor was late. I forgot about it. The company forgot too. Nick says, "Evan?" I ask. "Where are you?" "Dry goods, aisle 7. A bunch of us are here." We pushed pallets across the main lane. "How many?" "I don't know. 20? Maybe more. Teresa, Omar, Pete, Alina, that new kid, Danny. Darren is in the conference room with Leon and some drivers. He said everyone needs to stay calm, but he locked himself in there." Of course he did. Another bang comes through Nick's phone. Closer this time. Nick stops breathing into the speaker for a few seconds. He whispers, "Something is wrong with Lance." I say, "Stay away from him." No kidding. If someone is bitten, keep distance. What does bitten mean? It means keep distance. He starts talking fast. "Are you coming or not?" I look at the photo of my mother on the counter. She died 2 years ago in a hospital room where everybody used calm voices while things failed. I remember signing papers I did not understand, then walking into the parking lot with a plastic bag full of her clothes. I remember the stupid thought that I had to go to work the next morning. Keystone gave me 3 days off. Darren said it was generous. I say, "I don't know." Nick goes quiet. Man, please. There it is. The sound I wanted from him 5 minutes ago. Now it does nothing good. "I'm not a firefighter," I say. "I know." "I'm not police." "I know." "If I come there and the roads close, I'm stuck too." "I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about earlier." Behind him, a woman screams, but it cuts off into shouting. Nick says my name once, then the call drops. I do not move for a count of 10. Then I pick up my keys. I do it badly at first. That is the truth. I move around my apartment and grab random things without a plan. A flashlight with weak batteries, a pocket knife, a half-empty first aid kit, 2 bottles of water, a box of protein bars I bought on sale, work gloves, duct tape, the old crowbar from under the sink, a tire iron from the trunk. I put everything in a backpack, then dump it out and pack it again because it does not fit right. At 9:48, I leave the apartment. Bert is still outside. He has the leaf blower hanging from one hand, engine off. He watches me put the backpack in the Civic. "You seeing this stuff?" he asks. "Yeah." "My sister works near St. Bart's. She ain't answering." I open the driver door. "Stay inside." He gives a short laugh with no humor in it. "That bad?" I look toward the main road. A police cruiser speeds past, lights flashing, no siren. Behind it, 3 civilian cars follow close, all running the red light at the corner. One has a dented hood. One has a child pressing both hands against the rear window. "Yeah," I say. "That bad." I drive to the gas station first. That is selfish. It is also correct. If I go back to Keystone with half a tank, I might not get another chance. The station on Miller Road is already crowded. People are not panicking yet, but panic is getting organized. Cars sit at every pump. A man in a suit tries to fill 2 red gas cans while his wife argues with him from the passenger seat. A teenager films the line. The cashier has locked the front door and is taking customers through the night window. I pull behind a landscaping truck and wait 3 minutes. Then a woman in a white pickup cuts the line, scraping her bumper against the concrete post near pump 4. The driver of the landscaping truck gets out and starts shouting. I watch both of them and decide I do not need gas that badly. I have a little over half a tank, enough to reach Keystone, enough to leave if I do not get trapped doing something stupid. I back out before the shouting becomes something else. The radio is all alerts now. Not one clean explanation. Hospital incident. Police response. Avoid downtown. Reports of violent encounters. Stay away from injured persons behaving aggressively. Do not attempt physical restraint. I keep both hands on the wheel and drive through side streets because the main road is jammed near the highway ramp. At 10:06, Teresa sends one text. We are in dry goods. Receiving door failed. Lance and driver got out. More sick now. Help if you can, but don't die for us. That last part makes me angry. Not at her. At the sentence. At how practical it is. At how it gives me permission to leave. I turn onto Holt Avenue, which runs behind the industrial park. Keystone sits half a mile ahead, beyond a row of auto shops, a tire warehouse, and a fenced drainage canal full of brown weeds. The normal route is blocked before I reach it. 2 cars sit sideways at the intersection near the guard shack. A delivery truck has stopped across the entry lane. Workers from neighboring businesses stand outside, pointing phones toward Keystone. I park behind the tire warehouse and shut off the engine. For a few seconds, I just listen. Sirens come from different directions, but none close. A helicopter crosses somewhere above the low clouds. Dogs bark in the neighborhood beyond the industrial strip. From Keystone, I hear the faint rise and fall of shouting. I get out, put on the backpack, and carry the crowbar low beside my leg. The drainage canal has a maintenance path behind the warehouses. I know it because Omar and I used to smoke out there during overnight shifts when the cameras near the back fence were down. I do not smoke anymore, but old bad habits leave maps behind. I walk fast along the canal, keeping the Keystone building on my right. The back fence comes into view. The chain-link gate near the trash compactor is closed and chained from the inside. A man in a Keystone driver jacket stands at the gate, shaking it with both hands. I slow down. Hey. He turns so fast he stumbles. I recognize him after a second. Pete Waller, night driver, thick beard, always complaining about dispatch. Evan, he says, what are you doing here? Trying to figure that out. Pete points through the fence. So open it. From this side? You got tools? I look at the chain. It is thick, but the padlock is cheap. Who's behind you? No one right now. I was outside checking trailer seals when Leon chained the gate. Then something happened in receiving. I've been stuck out here. You're outside? Yeah. Then leave. Pete stares at me. My wife is in there. I look past him toward the warehouse wall. The trash compactor sits backed against the building. The side door near it is closed. Above that, a row of narrow windows sits high under the roofline. Nothing moves in them. Who's your wife? Alina. Inventory control. She was in dry goods. That changes the way he looks. He is not trying to get into the building for the building. He is trying to get through a fence because someone he loves is on the wrong side of it. Chula, I set the crowbar down, pull the tire iron from my backpack, and wedge it through the padlock shackle. Pete grabs the chain to hold it tight. It takes 4 hard pulls before the lock snaps open and drops into the dirt. Pete yanks the gate wide enough to squeeze through. Come on. I grab the crowbar. No. We check first. He is already moving toward the compactor door. I catch up and grab his sleeve. He jerks away, angry. Listen, I say. If you run in blind, your wife gets nothing. We need to know where people are. He looks ready to shove me, Then a heavy crash comes from inside the warehouse, and both of us stop. Someone bangs on the compactor door from the other side. Not a knock. A full-body hit. Metal flexes in the frame. Pete steps back. The door hits again. Then again. The small rectangular window is painted over from years of dust and grime, but something moves behind it. A hand drags across the glass. Fingers leave streaks. Pete whispers, "That door opens into receiving." Then we do not open it. My wife is not in receiving. Good. Then we find another way. My phone rings. Teresa again. I answer and keep my eyes on the door. "We're above dry goods," she says. What does above mean? Rack mezzanine? Omar got us up the maintenance ladder. Maybe 12 people. Nick is here. Danny, Alina, a few others. The floor is bad. People who got bitten are changing fast. Some are just sick at first. Then they start going at whoever is closest. Is the north fire door clear? No. Pallets in front of it from inside. We tried moving them, but aisle 4 is full of infected now. She uses the word infected, not sick, not violent, infected. I look at Pete. Alina is with Teresa on the mezzanine. He closes both eyes for a second. Then he opens them and nods. Teresa says, "Evan, why are you there?" Bad judgment. That sounds right. Even now, she tries to make it lighter. The attempt fails, but I hear the person behind it. I ask, "Can Omar reach forklift 4? Omar says forklift 4 is below us by the battery station. I have the spare key. Silence. Teresa says, "You still have that?" Apparently. Omar says if he can get to it, he can clear the east exit. The blocked one? Yeah. But getting to forklift 4 means crossing the main lane. I look at Pete. He looks back at me, already understanding the stupid shape of the plan. I say, "I'm at the back with Pete. We can maybe draw them toward receiving or the compactor side." No. It might clear the main lane. No, Evan, that is not a plan. That is noise with hope attached. She is right. That is what makes it annoying. Another voice gets on her phone. Omar. Evan, listen to me. If you are outside, do not enter the building. There are more than 20 infected on the floor. Some slow, some still moving normal. They do not listen. They do not stop when hurt. We need an exit, not a fight. What exit? East fire door. If I get forklift 4, I can move the paper towel pallets. But the infected follow sound. You make sound at receiving side. I move when they pull away. How do I make sound without opening the door? Pete points toward the trash compactor controls. The compactor is outside, but the feed chute runs through the wall into receiving. If we run it, the motor will shake the whole back corner of the building. I nod at him. We can run the compactor, I say. Omar says, "Good. Do it for 30 seconds. Stop. Wait. Do it again. I need them away from aisle 4. And after you clear the exit? People come out east side into the employee lot. The employee lot is visible from the road. Better than inside." He is right. I take the forklift key off my ring and stare at it. Tiny silver thing. Stupid little key. 4 years of work and all that matters now is the one thing I forgot to return. How do I get this to you? I ask. Omar says, "Maintenance entrance. Slide it under if clear." The maintenance entrance is 30 yards away from the compactor. It opens into a narrow parts room beside the battery station. But if the room is clear, the key can go under the door. If it is not clear, the key ends up at the feet of something that used to work there. I tell him, "Give me 2 minutes." I hang up. Pete and I move low along the wall, staying away from the compactor door. The maintenance entrance has a small window with wire mesh in the glass. I wipe grime away with my sleeve and look inside. The parts room is dim. Shelves of belts, filters, gloves, and hydraulic hoses line the walls. A yellow mop bucket sits tipped near the far door. No one stands inside. No one moves. The inner door into the warehouse is shut. I crouch and slide the forklift key under the door. It vanishes into the gap. For 10 seconds, nothing happens. Then fingers appear under the door from the inside, sweeping blindly across the floor. I jerk back before I understand. The fingers find the key and pull it through. Pete whispers, "Was that Omar?" My phone buzzes. Got it. I let out air I had been holding without thinking about it. We hurry back to the compactor controls. Pete knows the machine better than I do. He flips the red safety latch, checks the emergency stop, and presses the start button. The compactor motor comes alive with a deep industrial grind. The whole chute rattles. The back wall vibrates. Inside, something slams into the feed door right away. Then another hit. Then several. The noise builds, metal shaking against metal, infected bodies drawn to the sound inside receiving. Pete keeps his finger on the button for 30 seconds. I count out loud because counting gives my mouth something useful to do. At 30, he stops. The sudden quiet is worse. From deep inside the warehouse, unfaint through concrete and steel, we hear movement, shuffling, impacts. A forklift backup alarm starts chirping. Omar got to forklift 4. Pete's face changes when he hears it. For the first time since I found him at the fence, there is a chance visible in him. The forklift alarm continues. Then we hear the thump of pallets shifting somewhere far inside. A crash follows. A high rack alarm starts beeping. Someone screams, not from receiving, but from the far side. The sound travels through the building and comes out thin. Pete reaches for the compactor button again. "Wait," I say. Omar texts. Again. Now. Pete starts the compactor. The motor grinds louder this time. Or maybe I am just hearing everything too sharply. The feed chute shakes. The infected inside receiving hit the metal again and again. One of the hinges on the compactor door bends outward. I grab Pete's shoulder and pull him back 2 steps. The hinge bends farther. "Stop it," I say. He releases the button. The compactor winds down. The door holds. For now. A new sound comes from the east side of the building. A forklift horn. 3 short blasts. Omar. Then another crash. Then the fire alarm begins. The alarm changes the whole world. It cuts through the industrial park in hard, steady bursts. Lights flash inside high windows. Sprinklers do not start because Keystone's system is a patchwork of old zones and cheap fixes. But the alarm does what alarms do. It calls attention. People near the road start moving toward the warehouse instead of away from it. I look around the corner toward the employee lot. The front gate is clogged with cars now. Some workers from nearby businesses have gathered outside. 2 police cruisers are parked crooked near the guard shack, both empty. The white delivery van I saw earlier sits with its driver door open. At the east fire exit, nothing happens for 10 seconds. Then the door bursts open. People come out wrong. Not in a line, not calm. 12 or 15 of them spill into the employee lot, some falling, some dragging others, some looking back when looking back does not help. Omar comes last in the forklift, pushing 2 pallets through the open doorway, using them as a moving barrier. Teresa runs beside him with Danny, the new kid from second shift, gripping her sleeve. Nick is behind her. Alina is there too. and Pete starts forward before I can stop him. "Alina!" he shouts. She turns at his voice, and that is when one infected comes through the gap beside the forklift. It was Lance. I know him by the blue warehouse hoodie, not by his face. His movements are too direct. He does not hesitate at the sunlight. He stumbles once over the door threshold, then goes straight for the nearest person, a picker named Russell who is limping. Omar angles the forklift and clips Lance with the pallet stack, knocking him sideways into the wall without crushing him. It buys 3 seconds. Russell gets away. Teresa grabs Danny and keeps moving. I run toward them because standing still becomes impossible. Pete reaches Alina near the corner of the building. He grabs her, and she grabs him back with both hands. They do not kiss. They do not give a speech. He checks her arms. She checks his face. Both of them are alive. That is all there is time for. Teresa sees me and shouts, "Move!" We run toward the drainage canal path, away from the employee lot. Behind us, more people are coming out of the east exit. Too many. Not all of them steady. Not all of them unhurt. Nick catches up beside me. His face is pale under warehouse dust. "You came. Keep moving." "I thought you wouldn't." "I almost didn't." He has no answer for that. We reach the back gate. Pete pushes Alina through first. Teresa, Danny, Nick, and 3 others follow. Omar jumps off the forklift near the fence and runs last, carrying a fire extinguisher in both hands for no sane reason, except that a man grabs what is there when the world falls apart. The forklift keeps rolling for a few feet after he jumps. It bumps the fence, engine idling. The east exit is still open behind us. More infected come out. Some are workers, some are drivers. One is Leon, the security guard. His uniform shirt is torn at the shoulder. His radio hangs from the cord. He moves across the employee lot toward a woman from accounting who has fallen near a parked sedan. I look away before he reaches her, not because looking away changes anything, but because I need my feet to keep obeying me. We run along the canal path behind the tire warehouse. I count without meaning to. Pete, Alina, Teresa, Danny, Omar, Nick, Russell limping, a woman named Beth from Labels, an older driver called Mac, 2 order pullers I know by face but not name, and me, 12. There were maybe 80 people inside Keystone this morning. That number tries to stay in my head. I push it out because numbers are heavy, and we are still moving. At the tire warehouse, my Civic sits where I left it. It looks too small now. A car built for groceries and rent checks, not the end of a workday before lunch. Pete has a pickup 2 rows over. Omar came by bus. Teresa's car is inside the Keystone employee lot, behind the fence, now useless. Nick has keys but no car because his cousin dropped him off. Danny keeps asking about his backpack, which is still in the break room. "We need to leave," I say. "No room," Pete says, looking at his truck. "I can take 5. My car takes 4, maybe 5 if someone squeezes." "Where?" Teresa asks. No one answers. This is the part movies skip. The first real problem after escape is not courage. It is seats. Alina says, "My sister's house is north. She has a basement." Pete shakes his head. "North roads run past the hospital." "Then west," Omar says. "Industrial roads to County 18, less traffic." Mac, the older driver, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. "County 18 is already bad. I came in that way. State troopers had cars stopped. Folks were turning around." Nick says, "We need police." Nobody even looks at him after that. My phone buzzes again. "Emergency alert, citywide shelter order. Avoid contact with aggressive or visibly ill persons. Lock doors. Await official instructions. Official instructions are late. They are always late because instructions need permission, and permission needs someone alive and calm enough to give it. Teresa looks at me. Your place? Apartment complex. Too many people. Bad parking lot. No fence worth anything. You got somewhere else? I think of my brother's house 2 towns over, but he is in Florida with his wife for a conference. I think of my mother's old place, sold after she died. I think of nothing useful. Then Omar says, my uncle's shop. Everyone turns to him. Auto repair, southwest side, roll-up doors, tools, roof access, not downtown. I have keys. How far? Pete asks. 8 miles if roads are clear. Alina gives a short, hard laugh. Roads are not clear. Then 10, 12, we go side streets. That is a plan. Not a good plan. Just better than standing in a tire warehouse lot with a fire alarm screaming behind us. We split fast. Pete takes Alina, Mac, Beth, and Russell in his pickup. I take Teresa, Danny, Nick, and Omar in the Civic. Omar sits in front because he knows the route. Teresa sits behind me. Danny sits in the middle. Nick sits behind Omar with his knees jammed sideways. Before I start the car, Nick says, I'm sorry. I keep my hand on the key. For what? You know. No, say it. He looks at me in the rearview mirror. He does not want to. He does anyway. For laughing when Darren fired you. Danny looks down at his hands. Teresa says nothing. I start the car. Do better next time. Nick nods once. There should not be a next time for something that small, but there will be. The world does not end cleanly. People carry their worst habits into it. I know that because I brought mine too. I wanted Nick scared. I wanted Darren trapped. For a few minutes in my kitchen, I wanted the warehouse to punish everyone who made me feel worthless. Then Teresa called. Then Nick begged. Then Pete said his wife was inside. Revenge got complicated the second people had names. We pull out behind Pete's truck at 10:42. The sky has gone gray, and the whole industrial park is awake in the wrong way. Workers stand outside buildings. Some try to leave. Some watch Keystone. A man from the tire warehouse waves at us to stop, but Pete keeps going. I follow because stopping for every frightened person turns one bad choice into 10. At the main intersection, traffic is stuck. Pete cuts through the lot of an office furniture wholesaler, bumps over a low curb, and exits onto a service road. I follow, scraping the bottom of the Civic. Danny whispers an apology when his knee hits the console. He is maybe 19. He still has acne along his jaw and a Keystone name sticker on his shirt because he forgot his real badge. Omar gives directions without drama. Left after the blue building, then straight. Avoid Warren, take Foster. If Foster is blocked, we go through the school lot. School, Teresa says. Closed for teacher planning day. How do you know? My aunt works cafeteria. Tiny facts save time. Small connections matter. A cafeteria schedule can become a route around a roadblock. We pass a pharmacy with smashed front doors. 2 men carry bottled water out in their arms. A third man stands by the entrance with a baseball bat, yelling at them to leave some for other people. Across the street, an ambulance sits abandoned with its rear doors open. No one is inside from what I can see. The lights still flash. At Foster Avenue, Pete slows. A crowd blocks the far lane near a bus stop. People are trying to climb into a city bus already packed full. The driver is not opening the doors. He sits behind the wheel with both hands up, shaking his head. Someone hits the glass with a backpack. Someone else pulls a child away from the crush. Omar says, "Do not stop." Pete edges around the bus using the opposite lane. I follow so close to his bumper that I cannot see around him. A man slaps the hood of my car when we pass. He shouts something. I do not hear the words. Teresa twists in her seat, watching through the back window. They're just scared, Danny says. Nobody argues. Nobody agrees. 2 blocks later, we see why the bus driver would not open. A woman in a hospital scrub top walks down the center of Foster Avenue with one shoe missing. She has blood on her sleeve, but not enough to explain the way people avoid her. A man approaches her from a porch, hands up, speaking slowly. She turns toward him. He stops. Something about her movement makes every person nearby move back at once. Pete swerves around her. I do the same. She slams both hands onto the side of the Civic when we pass. Danny makes a sound and ducks. Nick kicks at the door from inside, trying to push away from her, though metal separates them. The woman falls behind us. I check the mirror. She is already turning toward the porch again. Omar says, "That is what Lance looked like after." Teresa answers from the back, "Do not talk about Lance right now." Omar nods. Okay. We keep driving. At 11:03, the city stops pretending. The official alert changes from shelter indoors to emergency curfew. The words do not matter. People are already outside, already driving, already breaking locks, already making decisions that cannot be pulled back. Smoke rises somewhere east. Sirens overlap until none of them sound directed at anything specific. Pete's truck turns into a narrow street lined with small warehouses, machine shops, and fenced yards full of equipment. Omar points ahead. There. Green sign. Vale Auto and Fleet. The shop sits between a plumbing supplier and a vacant print warehouse. 2 garage bays face the street. A side gate leads to a fenced back lot with a few customer cars, an old tow truck, and stacks of used tires. The building is concrete block, ugly and practical. I have never loved a building faster. Pete pulls up to the gate. Omar jumps out before I fully stop and runs to the office door. He fumbles keys, drops them, picks them up, and gets the door open on the 3rd try. An alarm starts screaming inside. He disappears into the office. 30 seconds later, the alarm stops. We move the vehicles into the back lot and shut the gate behind us. Pete wraps the chain twice and locks it. Omar opens one garage bay just high enough for people to duck under, then closes it again once we are inside. The shop smells of motor oil, rubber, brake dust, stale coffee, and metal shavings. 2 lifts stand empty. A pickup with its hood open sits near Bay 1. Tool chests line the walls. A soda machine hums in the corner. A calendar with a fishing boat hangs beside the office door. For a minute, everyone just stands there under fluorescent lights, listening to the muffled city outside. We are inside. That is all. Not safe. Inside. Pete checks Alina again. Any bites? No. He looks at her hands, arms, neck, not trusting words because words have started losing value. She lets him check. Then she checks him. Around us, others begin doing the same. Sleeves up, pant legs checked, jackets opened. No one jokes. No one complains about privacy. The old world is close enough for embarrassment, but not strong enough to protect anyone. Russell has a twisted ankle and a cut on his palm from the fence. No bite. Beth has bruises on one arm. Mac has nothing but shaking hands he keeps hiding in his jacket pockets. Danny has a scrape on his cheek from falling near the east exit. Nick has a red mark on his wrist where someone grabbed him, but no broken skin. Teresa has nothing visible. She still checks herself twice. When it is my turn, she looks at my arms, then my neck. You're clear. Thanks. She steps back. I mean it. For coming. I look away because gratitude is harder than anger right now. Omar cleared the exit. You came with the key. I forgot to return company property. That's my big contribution. Omar, standing by the office, says, Best theft of the day. A few people laugh. Not many. It still helps. We start working because work is the only thing that keeps the room from turning into panic. Omar knows the shop. He gets the breaker panel, lights in the back, roof hatch, bathroom, small storage room, and the upstairs office unlocked. Pete and Mac move a vending machine in front of the office door that opens toward the street. I help Nick drag tire stacks against the front windows. Teresa and Alina inventory the break room. Bottled water, coffee, crackers, 2 cans of soup, ketchup packets, sugar, and half a birthday cake in the fridge with Omar's uncle's name on it. So Danny finds a battery-powered radio in a drawer and sets it on the service counter. The signal is mostly static, but one station still broadcasts emergency information. The host sounds tired already. He reads the same shelter instruction 3 times, then goes quiet for too long. When he returns, he says emergency services are overwhelmed and hospitals should be avoided unless directed by authorities. He does not say zombie. Nobody official says zombie. Nick says it first. So, zombies? Mac snaps. Shut up. Nick does. I do not blame Mac. The word makes the room stupid for a second. It belongs to games, movies, late-night jokes, Halloween masks, cheap shirts in mall stores. It does not belong to Lance in a blue hoodie coming through the East Fire exit. It does not belong to the woman in scrubs hitting my car. It does not belong to Teresa on the rack mezzanine, telling me not to die for people who laughed at me. Omar says, call them infected, until we know. That works. It does not make anything better, but it keeps the room from floating away into nonsense. At 11:34, Darren calls me. His name on my screen makes the shop go smaller. I show Teresa. Her face goes flat. Answer. I do. Darren's voice comes through low and rushed. Evan, where are you? I do not answer. He says, Evan, I need you to listen carefully. I am in the conference room. Leon is gone. Regina is injured. There are people outside the door. Something is wrong with them. I need you to contact emergency services and tell them management is trapped. Management. The word sits there between us. I look at Teresa. She hears him because I have the phone on speaker now. Son Omar steps closer. Nick looks at the floor. Darren says, Evan, are you there? I say, how many people are with you? Regina, 2 drivers. Vince from Regional. Maybe 1 more, I'm not sure. Is anyone bitten? Pause. Regina has an injury. Was she bitten? Another pause. Lance attacked her. Teresa closes her eyes. I ask, is she changing? Darren's voice sharpens. I need help, not questions. You fired me this morning for asking about a blocked fire exit. This is not the time. No, it is exactly the time. That exit got people out because Omar cleared it with forklift 4. The forklift I had a spare key for. The exit you blocked. Silence from the phone. I should stop. I do not. How many came out through your conference room door, Darren? He breathes into the phone. Somewhere behind him, something bumps against wood. He says softer, I couldn't open it. There were too many. Teresa turns away. I grip the phone until my fingers press into the case. You locked yourself in. I was following containment protocol. There was no protocol. You don't understand what it was inside. That is the first honest thing he says. He sounds smaller now. Not sorry. Not yet. Just trapped. A woman groans faintly in the background. Regina, maybe. Another thud hits the conference room door. Darren says, "Please." That word should feel good. It does not. It lands wrong, too late, too expensive. I say, "We are not coming back inside Keystone." "You have to." "No. I'll tell corporate you assisted. I'll make sure your record—" I hang up before he finishes. No one speaks in the shop for a long moment. Nick looks at me, expecting something. Maybe regret. Maybe relief. I have neither in any clean form. Teresa says, "You made the right call." I look at the blocked front windows. I made the only call I can live with right now. That is not the same thing. At noon, the first infected reaches the shop gate. He is a man in a delivery uniform from a bakery company. He walks down the street past the plumbing supplier, turns toward the sound of our radio, and hits the chain-link fence with both hands. Not hard enough to break it. Hard enough to make everyone stop moving. Omar turns the radio off. The infected man keeps pressing into the fence. His mouth opens and closes. He has no plan, no tool use, no hesitation. He pushes against resistance because sound or movement brought him here. And now the fence is the only thing between him and us. Pete lifts a tire iron. Max says, "Don't hit the fence. Noise brings more." "What do we do?" Danny asks. "We wait," Omar says. Waiting is not doing nothing. I learned that in the next 20 minutes. Waiting means watching the street through gaps in tires. Waiting means counting the infected who pass without noticing us. Waiting means seeing a woman pull her teenage son into the vacant print warehouse across the street. Then seeing both of them crouch below the front window when 3 infected drift past. Waiting means not opening the gate for strangers because the gate cannot tell frightened from infected, and the person opening it has to make that choice. At 12:26, a city truck drives down the street with a loudspeaker telling residents to shelter indoors. 2 infected follow it, then 6, then more from side streets. The loudspeaker keeps repeating the instruction, turning the truck into bait. The driver either does not know or cannot stop. The truck turns onto Foster Avenue with at least 15 infected moving behind it. Omar says, "We cannot stay on the street side." The shop has a roof hatch in the upstairs office. We climb one at a time. The roof is flat, gravel-covered, with heating units, vents, and a low parapet. From up there, the city is no longer a collection of streets I know. It is movement, smoke, sirens, stopped traffic, and people making bad choices under pressure. To the east, near Keystone, black smoke rises. I do not know if it is the warehouse or something near it. I tell myself it does not matter. It does. Pete stands beside me, looking that way too. "Alina would have died in there," I nod. He says, "You too. If you weren't fired." I do not answer. That is the part I have not let fully land. Darren fired me in front of everyone. Nick laughed. I walked out ashamed, furious, broke. Then the same building became a trap. If Darren had waited until lunch, I would have been on the floor when Lance changed. If Regina had asked me to finish the shift before leaving, I might have been moving pallets from the blocked exit while infected came through receiving. If Nick had not laughed, I might have walked out slower, stopped to argue longer, been near the driver when Leon let him in. The worst morning of my life gave me a door. I hate that. I hate it more than if luck had been clean. Teresa climbs onto the roof and stands on my other side. "You okay?" "No." "Good. I'd worry if you said yes." Below us, the infected bakery driver still grips the fence. He has not figured out the gate latch. That matters. We say it out loud and make it a rule. The infected do not use latches. They push, pull, follow sound, follow movement, and stay with whatever draws attention. A chain-link fence holds 1, maybe not 20. A roll-up door holds until noise brings a crowd. Glass is weak. Height helps. Shadows help less than silence. None of this is official. It is what we can see. Observation becomes our first survival tool. At 1:10, Omar reaches his uncle by phone. He puts the call on speaker in the upstairs office. His uncle, Ray Vale, is stuck at a parts supplier 12 miles away. He says roads are bad. He says police shot at infected near the interstate and people ran into traffic. He says he is not coming back today. He gives Omar permission to use anything in the shop. Then he says, "Lock the office safe." Omar laughs once. "Tio, money is not the problem. It has the spare handgun." The room changes. Ray gives the combination. Omar writes it down. He opens the safe behind a stack of old invoices. Inside are business papers, some cash, a small revolver, a box of ammunition, and 2 passports. Omar does not touch the gun at first. He looks at it with the same expression he had when watching Lance come out of the east exit. Pete says, "I know how to use it." Omar says, "So do I." No one argues over it. That surprises me. Maybe the day has already spent all the useless arguments. Omar checks it, loads it, and puts it in a drawer near the office desk where it is reachable but not waved around. It is a tool, not a speech. We keep working. By mid-afternoon, the shop is better prepared, but still fragile. We have water from the bathroom tap while pressure holds. We fill every bucket, jug, coolant container, and clean trash we can find. We move 2 customer cars against the inside of the back gate, leaving enough space for Pete's truck and my Civic to exit if needed. We shut off unnecessary lights. We cover office windows from inside. We gather tools upstairs: hammers, pry bars, flashlights, batteries, gloves, safety glasses, a first aid kit, duct tape, a portable jump starter, and 3 fire extinguishers. The radio says the governor has activated the National Guard. Then the signal cuts to static for 4 minutes. When it returns, a different voice tells people not to travel unless evacuation is ordered. The voice sounds recorded. Danny sits on the office floor with his back against a filing cabinet, staring at his phone. My mom is not answering. Teresa sits beside him, not too close. Keep trying every few minutes. Save battery. She works at Westfield Elementary. Schools were closed today. She was going in to prep classrooms. Teresa has no answer that can fix it. She just nods. Then maybe she is inside. Schools have doors, kitchens, supplies. Danny grabs onto that because he needs something. Yeah. Nick stands by the door, listening. He has become quiet in a way that makes him look younger. Earlier, he was the guy laughing in aisle 9. Now he is one more person who wants a mother to answer. At 3:02, Darren texts me, still in conference room. Regina is dead. Please help. I read it once, then locked the phone. 5 minutes later, another text. I was wrong about the exit, then another. I am sorry. I put the phone face down on the desk. Teresa sees it. She does not ask. I appreciate that more than I can say. At 4:18, the power flickers. Everyone freezes. The lights come back. The soda machine hums. The air compressor in the shop kicks on with a loud clatter, and every person in the building turns toward it. Omar runs downstairs and shuts it off at the breaker. From outside, the infected bakery driver responds to the sound. He hits the gate again. Another infected appears near the plumbing supplier, then 2 more. Noise is not just danger. Noise is a debt. It gets paid after the mistake. We stay quiet until they drift away, but the bakery driver does not leave. He stays because he already has us marked. or the fence, or the memory of movement. We do not know which. Not knowing becomes normal fast. Near sunset, the woman and teenage boy from the print warehouse cross the street. We see them from the roof. The woman has a crowbar. The boy carries a backpack and a kitchen knife held wrong, blade out, wrist stiff. They move toward our gate, stopping behind parked cars, checking both ends of the street. They are alive. They are not infected from what we can see. The bakery driver is at the fence facing inward. He does not notice them until the boy kicks a bottle by mistake. The infected turns. The woman grabs the boy and pulls him onto the hood of a parked car. The infected follows, hitting the car. He cannot climb well, but he reaches. The boy stabs downward once and misses. The woman nearly falls. Pete says, "We have to help." Nobody says no. Nobody says yes. The cost appears in every face. If we open the gate, we risk the shop. If we do nothing, we watch two people get pulled down from a car 20 yards away. This is how the day keeps punishing simple ideas. Help is not pure. Refusing is not safe. Every choice takes something. Omar grabs the revolver from the drawer. I say, "No gun unless last resort." Noise. He stops, angry because he knows I am right. Teresa says, "Roof, throw something past the infected. Draw it away." We gather 3 used spark plugs from a parts bin. Omar says ceramic can break glass, then stops himself because that is not what we need. We need distance. Pete throws the first plug hard toward the far end of the street. It hits the side of a metal dumpster with a sharp crack. The bakery driver turns from the car. Pete throws another. It bounces off the pavement farther away. The infected follows the sound, slow at first, then with more direction. The woman looks up and sees us. I point toward the side gate and put one finger to my mouth. She nods. Omar and I run downstairs. Pete stays on the roof with the last spark plug. Teresa watches the street. At the gate, I pull the customer car back just enough. Omar unlocks the chain. We open the gate only wide enough for one person. The woman and boy run across the street. The boy slips once. The woman yanks him up by the backpack strap. Behind them, the bakery driver turns back at the sound of their shoes. Pete throws the last plug. It hits the dumpster again. The infected hesitates, then turns away. The woman reaches the gate first. The boy dives through after her. Omar shuts the gate. I wrap the chain with hands that keep fumbling because the links will not behave fast enough. The lock clicks. The woman bends over, hands on her knees, but she does not make noise. The boy presses his back to a tire stack and stares at us. The woman says, "I'm Claire. This is my son, Ben. He is not bitten. I am not bitten." She says it before we ask. New manners for a ruined afternoon. We check anyway. She lets us. Ben complains once, then Claire gives him a look, and he shuts up. No bites. No broken skin. They were at the print warehouse because Claire works there doing invoices. Ben was with her because school was closed. Her husband drove toward St. Bartholomew after his mother called from the hospital. He has not answered since 10 o'clock. We do not tell her what that likely means. We bring them upstairs. Ben eats 2 packs of crackers too fast, then gets sick in the bathroom. Claire apologizes 3 times and cleans it herself, even though Teresa tells her to stop. People cling to decency in strange ways. Cleaning a bathroom can be a claim that civilization has not completely lost. At 6:12, the sun drops behind the low buildings, and the street changes. The infected become harder to count. Shadows gather under parked vehicles and loading docks. Every sound travels farther. Somewhere nearby, A woman calls for help for almost 10 minutes. No one in our building moves toward the door. Not because no one cares, because the call moves from one street to another, and infected follow it. By the end, the woman is either gone or quiet. The infected remain. We do not turn on lights near windows. Omar finds an old camping lantern in his uncle's storage room. We set it on the floor upstairs and cover part of it with a shop towel to keep the glow low. People sit around it without forming a circle on purpose. The day has narrowed down to one room, one roof hatch, one stairwell, one locked gate, and the knowledge that the city outside is still breaking. At 7:03, my phone rings again. Darren. Everyone hears it because the room is quiet. I decline the call. It rings again. I decline again. A text comes. Please, door is failing. I put the phone on the desk and stare at it until the screen goes dark. Nick says, he deserves it. The words hit the room wrong. I turn toward him. Don't. Nick looks startled. What? Do not make this clean. He's trapped because he made bad calls. He also might die tonight. Both can be true. Nick's mouth tightens. He looks away. Teresa watches me for a moment, then says, Evan is right. I hate that she has to say it. I hate that Nick gave my ugliest thought a voice and made me reject it out loud. Part of me still wants Darren to sit in that conference room and understand every blocked exit, every ignored complaint, every little humiliation he handed out because he had the badge and salary to do it. Another part of me hears him saying please and sees Regina's cardboard box with my mother's photo wrapped in paper towels. No one is only one thing. That makes survival harder. At 7:40, the conference room door at Keystone fails. I do not see it. I hear it through Darren's accidental call. My phone lights up, and this time it answers because my thumb hits the screen while I am reaching to silence it. The speaker fills with noise. Wood cracking, Darren shouting, a driver yelling for someone to hold the table. Regina is not there because Regina is gone. Something slams into the phone or the table near it. Darren says, "No, no, no." Not loud, just repeated in a broken rhythm. Then the call continues without voices, scraping, movement, the faint warehouse fire alarm still beeping somewhere far away. I end it. No one asks. After that, sleep becomes a thing people talk about but do not do. We set watches. 2 people on the roof, 2 downstairs near the bay doors, the rest upstairs trying to rest. I take first roof watch with Teresa because neither of us wants to lie down. The roof is cold by 9 o'clock. The city glows in patches where power still holds. Other blocks are dark. Sirens are fewer now, and that is worse. A steady emergency siren sounds from somewhere downtown, rising and falling without human control. Fires burn east and south. Gunshots crack now and then, far enough away to be someone else's disaster. Teresa sits on an overturned bucket beside a heating unit. What were you going to do today? I lean against the parapet. After getting fired? Before. Work until 4, buy groceries, maybe fix my car if I had energy. Big plans. Yeah. She looks toward Keystone. The smoke there is lower now. I was going to ask for Saturday off. My niece has a dance thing. Darren would have said no, then acted generous when I found coverage. Sounds right. He was not always that bad. No? No. When he started, he was nervous, wanted everyone to like him. Then Regional kept rewarding him for cutting hours and making numbers look clean. He learned. I think about that. That does not excuse him. I know. Good. She glances at me. You always do that? What? Make sure nobody accidentally forgives someone too easily. I almost answer fast. Then I don't. Below us, an infected moves between two parked cars and disappears behind the plumbing supplier. My dad used to say apologies were cheap rent, I say. People move in and stay forever if you let them. Teresa nods slowly. Your dad around? No. Left when I was 15. Sent 3 birthday cards after that. All late. Sorry. Don't be. He was consistent by leaving. She does not push. That is one of the reasons I trusted her at work. Teresa knows when silence is not empty. At 10:18, we hear an engine. Not passing. Approaching. We crouch behind the parapet and look down at the street. A white pickup rolls slowly past the plumbing supplier with its headlights off. 3 men ride in the bed. One holds a flashlight, sweeping it across storefronts. Another carries a shotgun. The truck stops in front of the print warehouse. The man with the flashlight shines it through broken glass. Claire's hand covers Ben's mouth behind us. She came up when she heard the engine. Her eyes stay on the truck. The driver honks once. Every infected in the area turns toward the sound. The men in the truck laugh. One in the bed throws a bottle down the street. It breaks. Infected move after it, clearing the space in front of the truck. That is not panic. That is method. Omar whispers, looters. The word is too clean, but it works. The truck rolls to the next building. The flashlight hits our shop sign. Vale Auto and Fleet. The truck slows. No one moves. The flashlight travels across the front windows. It finds the tire stacks behind the glass. One man in the truck bed says something. We cannot hear it clearly. The driver stops. Below, our gate is chained. Customer cars sit behind it. Our vehicles are hidden deeper in the lot, but not perfectly. If the men check, they will know someone is inside. Pete from the roof hatch whispers, gun. Omar shakes his head. No, not unless they come in. The truck idles. Then, from farther down the street, the bakery driver hits the dumpster again. The sound pulls the flashlight away. The men laugh at something else, and the truck rolls forward. We stay down until the engine fades. Claire lowers her hand from Ben's mouth. Ben's face is wet. He does not make noise. That takes more control than I expected from him. Teresa whispers, people already figured out how to use them. No one needs to ask what she means. At midnight, my phone has 23% battery. I turn it off. There is no one left to call who can reach me, and every alert is another way to drain power. Around me, people finally sleep in pieces. Pete and Alina sit shoulder to shoulder near the filing cabinets. Omar lies on the floor with one arm over his eyes. Nick sits upright, chin down, not asleep but not fully awake. Danny curls near the wall with his phone in his hand. Claire and Ben sleep near the office desk, her body angled between him and the door. I sit by the stairwell with the crowbar across my lap. 14 people in an auto shop because a warehouse fired me. No, that is too simple. 14 people in an auto shop because a fire exit was blocked. A driver was waved through. A supervisor chose control over safety. A forklift key stayed on the wrong key ring. Teresa called. Nick begged. Pete had a wife inside. Omar knew a route. And every person here made one useful decision before the next bad one could catch up. That is closer. Still not complete. At 2:30 in the morning, the back gate rattles. I sit up. Across the room, Omar opens his eyes immediately. Pete does too. The sound comes again, chain link shaking, not the steady push of one infected. This has pauses, hands testing, someone outside. Omar takes the revolver from the drawer. Pete grabs the tire iron. I wake Teresa with one touch to the shoulder. I then point downstairs. We move without lights. From the dark shop floor, I look through a gap beside the rear bay. 3 shapes stand at the back gate. Human, alive, whispering. One uses bolt cutters on the chain. The looters from the pickup. The chain snaps. Omar raises the revolver, but I put one hand out. Not yet. Noise will bring infected from every street nearby. The men open the gate slowly. One slips inside the lot. He carries a flashlight in one hand and a shotgun in the other. Another follows with a crowbar. The third stays by the gate. They are not desperate families. They are hunting for supplies. I whisper, "Bay door?" Omar nods. We cannot let them get inside quietly. We also cannot start a gunfight if there is another choice. The infected are still near the street. Sound can hurt us. Sound can also work. I crawl to the wall controls for Bay 2. The garage door is closed. The men outside do not know I am beside it. Omar crouches behind a tool chest with the revolver pointed low. Pete stands behind the customer pickup on the lift, tire iron ready. Teresa waits by the stairwell with a fire extinguisher. The man with the flashlight reaches the small back office door, locked. He gestures to the one with the crowbar. I press the bay door button. The motor roars in the quiet. Bay 2 rises fast, metal panels rattling upward. The men jump back, startled. At the same time, every infected within hearing turns toward the shop. I hit the shop lights. Fluorescent tubes flood the garage. The man with the shotgun sees us. Omar aims the revolver at him. Omar says, "Leave." The man raises the shotgun halfway. Pete steps into view with the tire iron. Teresa pulls the pin on the fire extinguisher. I hold the crowbar with both hands and know exactly how little that means against a shotgun. Then the first infected reaches the open gate behind the men. The third man at the gate screams a warning. The shotgun man turns. The infected grabs him from behind. He fires into the pavement. The blast inside the lot is deafening. More infected surge toward the gate from the street. Omar fires once. I do not know if he hits anything. The sound shatters whatever quiet remained. "Door!" I shout. I hit the bay control. The door starts coming down. The man with the crowbar dives under it into the shop. Pete swings the tire iron into the man's arm, knocking the crowbar loose. Teresa empties the fire extinguisher into his face. He falls against the tool chest, coughing, blind, alive, and useless for the next 10 seconds. The shotgun man outside is down near the gate. The third man runs into the street and vanishes with infected following. I keep my finger on the button until the bay door hits concrete. Something slams into it from outside. Then another. Then many. The man on the floor tries to get up. Omar points the revolver at him. "Stay down," Omar says. The man stays down. Pete kicks the crowbar away. Nick and Mac come running from upstairs. Danny follows, then freezes when he sees the man on the floor. The bay door takes another hit. It holds, but the whole door bows inward. Omar looks at me. "Too much noise. We cannot stay." He's right. The shop was good until it became known. The gate is open. The infected are gathering. The shotgun blast called more. The looter on the floor saw our faces, our people, our supplies. If we tie him up and stay, his friends or the infected will solve the problem for us. If we let him go, he may come back. No answer is clean, Teresa says. We leave through the side with the vehicles, now. The man on the floor coughs. "Don't leave me." No one answers for a second. Then Claire says from the stairs, "Is he bitten?" Pete checks roughly. No bite visible, no broken skin except where he hit the floor. Omar says, "He tried to rob us." Claire says, I know. The bay door shutters again. Screws pop from one bracket. I say, he leaves on foot, not with us. Omar looks at me. He will tell people. Maybe, but if we keep him, we have to guard him. If we kill him, we become something else tonight. If we throw him outside to infected, same thing with extra steps. Pete looks unhappy, but does not argue. Omar pulls the man up and shoves him toward the office door leading to the side alley. Run left. Do not follow us. The man stumbles out, still coughing. Teresa locks the door behind him. We move fast. No speeches, no packing everything, just what hands can carry. Water jugs, food, first aid kit, ammunition, flashlights, tools, phones, jackets, Omar's uncle's keys. We abandon the soda machine, the spare tires, half the supplies we gathered, the roof, the temporary feeling of control. Outside, the back lot is chaos. Infected press against the gate and the customer cars. The gate is bent open where the looters cut the chain. Pete's truck is blocked by one of the customer cars we used as a barricade. My Civic has a clear path if we move fast. The old tow truck sits near the side fence with keys hanging from a hook inside the shop office. Omar sees it too. Tow truck. Does it run? It ran last week. That will have to be enough. Pete gets his pickup started, while Mac and Nick shove the customer car just far enough to clear the angle. Omar starts the tow truck. It coughs, grinds, then turns over with a rough diesel rattle that sounds loud enough to wake the dead, if the dead were sleeping. Infected at the gate turn toward it. We load people in ugly math again. Pete's pickup takes Alina, Mac, Russell, Beth, Claire, and Ben. The tow truck takes Omar, Teresa, Danny, Nick, and me. I ride on the floor behind the seats with my knees against a toolbox because there is no proper place. No one complains. At 2:58 in the morning, Pete rams the weakened gate with his pickup. The gate tears open. Infected spill inward from both sides. Pete's truck shoves through them, not fast, not clean, just enough force to make space. Omar follows in the tow truck. One infected slams against my door. Nick kicks at it from inside, yelling without words. Teresa reaches across him and locks the door. We burst onto the street and turn west. The shop disappears behind us, lights still on, bay door shaking under infected hands. Omar drives without headlights for 2 blocks, then turns them on when the road opens. The tow truck smells of fuel, old vinyl, and hot dust. Tools clatter behind the seat. The radio mounted under the dash spits static. My phone is still off in my pocket. I do not turn it on. No one speaks until the industrial street ends. Then Danny says, "Where now?" Omar looks at me, which is unfair. Then Teresa does too. Nick follows. Maybe because I came back. Maybe because I said no to Darren. Maybe because I have been making hard choices loudly enough for people to mistake that for leadership. I say, not downtown, not hospitals, not main roads. We need water, distance, and a place with fewer entrances. Pete's pickup brake lights glow ahead at the stop sign. He waits for our decision. Omar says, "There's a county maintenance yard west of here. Fenced. Salt dome. Fuel tanks maybe. Small office. You have keys?" "No." "Can we get in?" "This truck can pull a gate." That is a bad plan with equipment, which makes it better than walking. We head west. The road's thin after 3:20. Not empty, never empty. Cars sit abandoned at angles. A minivan burns in the lot of a daycare. 2 police cruisers block a bridge, but no officers stand near them. Omar drives over the curb and through grass to get around. Pete follows. The tow truck rocks hard, and Danny hits his shoulder against the door, but says he is fine before anyone asks. At 3:47, we reach the county maintenance yard. It sits behind a chain-link fence beside a two-lane road, with a low office building, a garage, a fuel island, a salt dome, and rows of plow trucks parked for seasons that do not matter tonight. The gate is locked, no infected visible inside, no lights except one security lamp near the office door. Pete parks facing outward. Omar backs the tow truck to the gate, hooks the cable, and pulls. The gate bends, resists, then gives with a metallic crack. We slip the vehicles through and close the damaged gate behind us with a chain from Pete's truck. The office door is locked. Pete breaks a side window with a tire iron, reaches in, and unlocks it. The alarm does not sound. Maybe power is out. Maybe nobody paid for monitoring. The office smells of dust and old paperwork. We clear it room by room with tools raised and voices low. Reception, break room, locker room, bathroom, small supervisor office, no one inside. The garage is bigger and colder. 2 dump trucks, a road grader, shelves of parts, hydraulic fluid, work lights, a first aid cabinet, a vending machine, cases of bottled water in a corner, maybe for summer road crews, a miracle that looks boring. We lock what can be locked, block what can be blocked. Set watch again. No one cheers. People in real life rarely cheer when survival is temporary. People sit down. People check phones. People use the bathroom. People drink water and stare at walls. At 4:30, I finally turn my phone on. Messages flood in and then stop because the signal weakens. 2 from Darren before the call. 1 from Regina, sent at 10:11, never seen until now. I'm sorry about this morning. I should have spoken up about the exit. I sit in the supervisor office and read that message 5 times. Teresa comes in and leans against the doorframe. You found something. I hold up the phone. She reads it. Her face changes, not dramatically. Just enough. She wrapped my mom's photo, I say. I know. She didn't have to. No. Outside the office window, the sky is starting to lighten. Not sunrise yet, just the first gray edge of morning. The world made it through one night in pieces. That should feel impossible. It mostly feels unfinished. I put the phone down on the desk. Teresa says, "You saved people." I also left people. You did both. That is the only honest answer. I nod. By 5:18, everyone still alive in our group is inside the county yard. 14 from the shop, plus Claire and Ben. 16 total. The looter is gone. Darren is gone. Regina is gone. Leon, Lance, and most of Keystone are gone or worse. My job is gone. My apartment may still be standing. My car is parked beside a salt dome with a quarter tank left. My last paycheck will never matter the way it mattered yesterday. The first infected reaches the county fence at 5:41. It is a man in pajamas and a winter coat, 1 foot bare. He presses into the chain link and grips it. Behind him, the road is quiet for now. No herd, no truck, no sirens, just 1 infected, 1 fence, and 16 people watching from behind a garage wall, learning again that no place is safe because safe is not a place anymore. Safe is a list of tasks that never ends. Omar stands beside me with a clipboard he found in the garage office. He has already started writing inventory: water, fuel, food, tools, vehicles, medical, entrances, people. He hands me the clipboard. You write better. I almost laugh. I got fired yesterday. It was yesterday? I look at the pale morning through the dirty window. Yeah. It feels wrong. It feels too far away and too close at the same time. Nick walks over with 2 bottles of water and gives one to me. He does not say sorry again. good. Once was enough. Instead, he says, "What do you need done?" That is better. I look at him, then at the others. Pete checking the gate chain, Alina sorting water, Teresa calming Danny while he tries his mother again, Claire making Ben eat slowly, Mac inspecting the plow trucks, Omar waiting with the clipboard. People who were coworkers yesterday and something else now. Not family, not a team yet, just people with shared consequences. We start with the fence, I say. Then fuel, then roof access. Then we find a radio that reaches farther than static. Nick nods and goes to get gloves. I stand there another second with the clipboard in my hand. Yesterday morning, I thought being thrown out of Keystone was the worst thing that could happen to me. I walked across that employee lot carrying a box of junk and shame, listening to people laugh because one man with a title wanted me small. I thought I had lost my place. Now the warehouse is smoke behind us, and the people who made it out are alive because I was outside the trap. That does not make the firing good. It does not make Darren useful. It does not turn humiliation into destiny or any of that cheap nonsense people tell themselves after pain. It means bad things can shove a person into the right position by accident. It means rejection can become distance. It means a locked door can save one man and kill another, depending which side he stands on when the shouting starts. I do not feel chosen. I do not feel lucky in any clean way. I feel awake. The infected man at the fence pushes harder when Nick drags a metal barricade across the yard. The sound brings him closer to the gate, funny fingers hooked in the chain link, face pressed into the wire. Pete looks back at me, waiting for a call. I pick up the crowbar. "Quiet first," I say. "No gun unless we have no choice. We handle one before one becomes 10. Everyone moves. The day begins.